Is my gone? Episode 156, WWWOA. What's wrong with Orny Adams? You can hashtag that. Welcome back, everybody. Here's a scary fact. This came up during my shows in Las Vegas this weekend. Somebody yelled this out. I was talking about how there was more murders than ever. There's one murder in this world every minute. Every minute of the day, somebody is killed. In fact, in about 30 seconds, we're due for one. Here's an even scarier fact if you think about it in these terms. There's 8.1 billion people on the planet, okay? If somebody's killed every minute, we're all gone in 15,000 years. 15,000 years, we're done. So everyone who's thinking, oh, I'm going to live forever, you're gone in 15,000 years. If you don't die of natural causes, we're all gone in 15,000 years. Scary stuff. Here's another fact that scares me even more. And by the way, don't message me and say, but people are going to keep having babies. You're not going to live to 15,000 years. Don't ruin my fantasy. I'm well aware that this doesn't hold up mathematically at all. I get it. I get it. Here's another scary fact. Ready for this? Oh, somebody just got killed. Here's another scary fact. Driving through Las Vegas, and I said to the manager of the Jimmy Kimmel Comedy Club who was driving me, I said, what hotel is that? I think it was a Hilton. He said, oh, that's the old International. That's where Elvis used to play. I'm like, oh, wow, that's cool. That's a landmark. He said Elvis sold out 636 shows. 636 shows from 1969 to 1976. The venue size, 2,000 seats. So let's do some math. You want to be depressed, everybody that doesn't sell tickets? And that's me. I'll put myself on that list. It's hard to sell tickets. Elvis sold at 636 shows. The venue sat 2,000 seats. That's 1.3 million tickets he sold in those 7 years. 7 years, right? Now, if they sold the tickets today at a modest $200 per seat to see Elvis Presley, that 7 years would have brought in over $250 million. That's like $250 million. And that's his side hustle. You know, he's selling records, he's doing movies, he's the king. And I don't think anybody could top that nowadays. Maybe Taylor Swift, maybe the T-Swizzler. Episode 156 starts right now. Right now. I'm looking at the clock. We're 3 minutes in, 3 people dead. I don't like to think in those terms, but that's where we're at. How is there 8.1 billion people? Hey, everybody, start pulling out!
What's his name, Kev?
Orny Adams. Put them together and what do you got? We got Orny Adams. What an episode I have for you today. I'm alone, I'm solo, but was great having Jim Clemente on the last episode, FBI profiler, podcaster, good friend Jimmy the Fox Clemente. We call him the Fox because he was bitten by a rabid fox. What are the chances of that? Very, very minimal. Let's start with what's wrong with this. Can you see this? I treated myself to, I went on a buying bender of anything with flamingos over July 4th. Lost my mind. I'm back, but I did buy sets and sets of glasses with flamingos, and I treated myself to this one. You can't even see it. Etched in it, it says Orny Adams, and it has a flamingo. Well, what good is this if you can't see Orny Adams? I go, I've made it. I can afford a flamingo glass that says Orny Adams. It's etched in there. Maybe as I drink and the green fluid subsides, we'll be able to see the Orny Adams. Maybe that's something to look forward to, viewers of the podcast. People that view this on YouTube, you're a few weeks late, everybody. The new episodes go up on Patreon. So when I'm talking about July 4th right now, don't message me and say, well, we're talking about July 4th. It's September. Well, that's because you're not on the Patreon. Fire it up. On the flight to Vegas, Southwest Burbank, here we go. Here's the list of complaints. First of all, I don't see any dogs on any flights to Vegas. That's interesting. When people are going to party and have a good time, I guess they don't need their emotional support dogs. Suddenly, those can stay home. All these people with these dogs saying, oh, it's my emotional support dog. They don't need them for Vegas. Southwest, talking to you now. I could play it, but it's, again, it's audio from the plane and video. I took video of this. This flight is 43 minutes long. You're in the air for 43 minutes. Somehow, this crew, actually, there's one flight attendant, she managed to sneak in two, not one, two singings of happy birthday. She got the entire plane begrudgingly to sing happy birthday to two people. She brought them up to the front, got on the speaker and said, hey, everybody, it's so-and-so's birthday. Like, we care. Let me just say something, Southwest. Now that you're charging for bags, this crap stops. You're not our friends anymore. You're not the fun airline anymore. You're corporate. You're going to charge for bags. You're going to charge for early check-in. You're going to charge for seats. You're going to charge ridiculous prices for your tickets now. Used to be $59, $39 one way to Vegas. Now you're paying almost, $400 for a round-trip ticket if you want good times. You're going to have all these fees. You're going to charge baggage fees like the big boys, like Delta. Delta's a big boy airplane. Big boy airplane. Limited company. United. Big boy. American big boy. Their seats have chargers in them. Their seats have TVs. Their seats are comfortable. They got an operation. Southwest, what do you have to offer? You aren't grown up and you're trying to act grown up. And I'm tired of it. For somebody like me that travels a lot, I don't like any of these changes with Southwest. And it stops now, the singing happy birthday. It stops. You want to charge us for bags? You want to be all corporate? You want to be not about pleasing the... You're not pleasing. Please us by not... We don't want happy birthday. We want free bags. And you're charging 40 and like the same prices as the big boys? This is absurd. It's a horrible business decision. And I hope business goes down so much that they have to go back to the old policies, the old Southwest that we fell in love. Just change the name. Call it another airline. You've damaged the brand. I'm fired up. Amazon. Now I'm talking to Amazon, another company. Great company. You know what's interesting? Before I pontificate, no, you know what? I'm going to say the original thought right now. Because I see videos online. Excuse me, I know this is happening. Sorry, I chugged so much of my green juice. Forgot to put the ginger in there. Anyway, Southwest, Amazon. I'm talking about these big companies, Uber, Lyft. I'm talking to you because I'm onto this crap that you pull. You're very good. You're like drug dealers. We're going to hook the consumer early with a good service and cheaper, okay? Amazon, remember the old days? You'd buy stuff, there was no tax. It was cheaper than if you went into the store. Well, that has all changed. It's now same price as store, perhaps more, and a lot of packages arrive, and my first reaction is, this has been opened. Somebody has rejected this item already. So you go into a store, you can inspect the package, and you say, this has been opened. I'm going to take one from the back. And you wonder why it's been rejected. A lot of the times you figure out pretty soon. I bought I bought throw pillows. I know I say pillow funny. But I went on a throw pillow buying bonanza too, on top of the flamingo glasses. And I bought 6 new throw pillows. And I bought backup cases for them. But some of the cases, the zippers didn't really work. I go, this package feels like it's been open. And ding, 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 ding. Those were the ones where the zipper didn't work. But Amazon has a problem. And I see this on social media. So I'm not imagining this. This isn't what's wrong with Orny Adams' brain right now. There's a lot of theft of packages. People are stealing. It's very easy. You see the truck that says Amazon, you follow it, you see them drop some packages off outside the door, and you grab them. Now, sometimes the packages are outside my door for hours. I don't realize it, even though there's a note that says, you can drop them over the gate if they're not, electronics or something that could break. I almost said perishable. Why am I? Yeah, if they're not perishable, throw them over the gate. How many people have died? We're at 10 minutes. Oh, it's so depressing. We might reach 15,000 years. We might abolish the population sooner than that. Here's the thing, Amazon. Make this your policy. You're such a smart company. You're always leaving the packages exactly under a Ring doorbell. Ring the ring. Ring the ring. Ring the Google Nest. Ring the ring. Ring the doorbell. Let the person inside the house know there's activity outside the door. Your packages are there. I mean, I don't have alerts. Like every time somebody walks by, I'm not going to get an alert. So Amazon, if you rang it, then I would put 2 and 2 together and go 2 plus 2 equals Amazon package has been delivered. I think that is a good suggestion. I'm here to help Amazon. Let's talk about Uber, Lyft, another company, and then I'm done bashing companies. Uber, Lyft is another one that pull. I've seen this so many times in my lifetime. Company comes in, they offer something at a great cost to the consumer. It's a deal. It's a good service. They hook you, and gradually they go Southwest. Gradually take it away. You know, all these miles credit card companies give you. At one point, I had $12,000. I'm sorry, $1,200 worth of points. What am I, Dave Portnoy? I had $1,200 worth of points, and I'd never used them. And I checked the balance, and now they're at 800. So they take away. Companies love to give and take away, give and take away. Well, Uber Lyft used to be cheaper than taxis. I'm here to say those days are over. When I call Uber from LAX, and I'm like, you got to be kidding me, I'll just jump in a taxi. So the other day, and you're blinded by this, you forget that there's that option because you've joined the cult. You've joined the cult. You have no other free thought. Off the plane, call Uber Lyft. Off the plane, call Uber Lyft. Like you forget to think outside the box. So every time I fly into Burbank and I come home, it used to be nothing. It used to be so cheap. It was great. It was cheaper than driving and paying parking, which is only $10 a day. Well, it's crept up, and it's crept up. And I would say it's now 60 to 70% more than what it used to be. It's a short ride. And now we're inching closer to what it costs to go to LAX. So I don't like it. The other day I flew in, and it's not going down. Usually it goes down in price, or Lyft is cheaper, or Uber is cheaper. That's how I do it. I go on both and I find which one's cheaper. And I saw a cab. I go, oh yeah, cabs. I forgot about cabs. I got in this cab. It was clean. The guy had a permit, a license number. His picture was there. I felt safe. He was great. Guy was from Armenia. We talked about Armenia. I told him I grew up next to one of the biggest Armenian communities on the East Coast, Watertown, Massachusetts. And we talked about Armenian food and the world. And he was Persian Armenian. And so anyway, it was a great conversation. It was cheaper. About a third cheaper than Uber Lyft, and I paid cash, which he was so grateful for, and I tipped him, and he really was grateful. Now, I tip Uber Lyft, a majority of the time, I never hear back. Sometimes I get like a thank you emoji or something from them, or a notification, so-and-so, thank you for the tip. But they don't thank, nobody, it's absurd. When it's at Dunkin' Donuts, which used to be my favorite company in Vegas, on the way out, tradition on Sunday, Gary, the manager, picks me up at the hotel. We go to Dunkin's. I buy him a couple of donuts, although he shouldn't be eating donuts. He knows that. And I get a coffee and bagel, and I shouldn't be eating a bagel. I know that. And walk in, and there's a guy behind the register, doesn't look at us, doesn't say anything, takes the key to the bathroom, and just goes to the bathroom. And we're standing there for a few minutes, like enough for like 4 people to have been killed. And in that time period. And I look at Gary and I said, does this guy expect me to tip him? Does he expect me to tip him when he doesn't even look at me? Hi, hang on 1 second. I'll be right back and I'll be happy to take your order. We're the only ones in line. How about take our order, then go to the bathroom? What's wrong with that, Dunkin' Donuts? You know, I used to own Dunkin' Donuts stock, did pretty well. And then they went private, public, private. And they bought out my final shares. But I said, does he expect me to tip him? So the guy comes back. I said, I'm gonna tip him just to see his reaction. So I pay cash, and I give him a whole dollar. You know, it's not like a lot of money. The order comes to like $9. Guy doesn't look at me, doesn't acknowledge it, doesn't say thank you. And I thought, why do I keep tipping ungrateful people that feel like they're entitled to my money? So what has Orny Adams been up to? Is anybody asking that question? And I'm going to tell you, because I've got like nerves like this. I'm like, my adrenaline has been pumping nonstop. And I'll tell you why. The announcement will be coming with a specific date when I will be shooting my 4th special. Let me give you a little history of Orny Adams and his comedy specials. I was in a documentary, and then I released one on my own. I shot at the Ice House in Pasadena. I called it Path of Most Resistance, because that seems to be my life. And actually, I kind of like a little resistance. I self-shot it, self-financed, and I put it out. And I think I said, I called it an introduction to Orny Adams, because I'm going to introduce me to the world, okay? It comes from me, not from somebody else's eyes in a documentary. This is my introduction. Then I did another one called Takes the Third, which is about the Third Amendment. And not about, but that's the title is about. There's one joke in there. And that I did with a company that was my management company at the time, Levity, and we sold it to Comedy Central. Then we sold it second window to Netflix. Oh, and by the way, Path of Most Resistance was on Netflix as a mailer. They actually bought physical DVDs. They sent me an email. This is how old I am, kids. They sent me an email and they said, we'd like to, I didn't know what Netflix was. We'd like to distribute your comedy DVD. And they bought like 10 copies. They refused a discount, which was great. I'm a pioneer. I'm one of the first comedians on Netflix. And I'm trying to find those emails, but I like, did Ted Sarandos email me? Like, who was I talking to that bought my DVDs? So then the second one ends up second window Netflix. Third one is on Showtime. Now it's on YouTube with over 7 million views. The second one, that one's called More Than Loud, because I'm trying to tell the world that, yeah, I'm very loud, but I'm saying something, not just up there yelling like a crazy person. Quite sure if I whispered some of these jokes, they'd still get laughs, probably more than other people's laughs. But I am more than loud. The next one coming up could be called Stupid Finds Me. This will be my 4th one. And I am once again choosing not to approach anybody to sell it ahead of time. I'm not gonna go, not that they'd be interested, but they might be. So I'm gonna self-finance. This is gonna cost me a lot of money. And it may end up on YouTube, which I'll be fine with. But I have a director who worked on the last special with me and was my manager. His name's Adam. And we're working every day on this. I hired a producer that works on a lot of comedy specials that go to Netflix. So this will be the spec for Netflix and Hulu if they would ever want to buy it, which I doubt. But part of me wants to name it This One's For Me, because I'm doing this for me. I'm doing this because I want to get this out here. So when Adam calls me and he says, hey, you know, this is what Netflix is looking for right now in regards to comedy specials. I say, I don't care. I'm doing this for me. This is for me. This is for me. I'm doing this because I need to get it out, because I have a vision, and I've written out the opening. It's pretty cool. I'm talking to a composer right now about composing a song which should be public domain. I've got a friend at Disney looking into seeing if it's public domain. After this, I'm going to a meeting with a neighbor who's, I don't want to say who he is, but very well connected. And I'm going to look at a space that he owns and the equipment he has. And, you know, maybe if he feels comfortable, I'll discuss it at some point. But a lot of people are coming together to help me. And that to me feels more warm and cool and punk and rock and roll than selling it and getting a bunch of upfront money and just being told what to do. So this one's for me. This one's for me. I'm doing this because it might be my last. Even though I have hours of material, I probably have enough for 3 specials. I mean, I definitely have one that has beginning, middle, and end. And, you know, I definitely have enough material to sit there and fill another 2 hours in special time, because special time is like, you know, 40 minutes is an hour. They clap and you can, it's so beautiful. And so I will, I'll release this. And I don't know how much energy I have to do this again, but here's part of the problem, because I have a blank, I have a notebook, and I just write down any thought in it. And as I try and structure, okay, I've got to pull from all this material and whittle it down to this concise hour that tells a story. My style has changed in the last year. I've transformed from one comedian style to a new one, and it's hard to describe. I mean, I could describe it, but I don't want to bore you. Come see a show, you'll see. And that's what I want to be doing right now. But I've got to go back and I've got to do these great routines in the old style. So that's part of what I'm dealing with. And it is a monumental task. It is monumental. And it's why I'm not sleeping. And, you know, yesterday, phone calls with Adam, phone calls with the composer. Today, phone calls and meetings with my neighbor, who's very connected, probably too big to help me. And this is what's taking my time. And I had a nightmare the other night. I had like a stress nightmare about the special that I didn't have an outfit picked out, and I hadn't figured out. You know, I think part of it was I left a lot of my notes in Los Angeles and forgot to bring them to Vegas. And I was nervous, like I hadn't completed. It was like an old, you know, like you're late for school, even though you're in your 40s, you're having those nightmares. Or you're late for the exam, or you missed the exam, or you didn't study for the exam. It was that exact stress. Another part of the process that I'm going through, and I'm sorry if this, you know, the making of the bologna is boring to people, but it is what I'm going through. And I think people are fascinated by the behind the scenes stuff. So I've got to figure out a style, a feel, a look for the special. And I'm fascinated. I'm watching a lot of Elvis, and I love how Elvis is just floating in this black space. So I'm talking to lighting people about that. And I've hired people that build sets, and, you know, you can see the work that's going to go into this. And I'm watching video after video after video and looking for inspiration in music, which is really, if you look at any of my specials, they open with classical music, Carmen, stuff like that, because I'm inspired by music. Music I love, because if you look at sheet music, it's mathematical. I want to live in a mathematical world. I like 2 + 2 = 4. Twice 2 = 4. Remember, I discovered that was in Dostoevsky's Notes from the Underground when I reread it. And it's something my dad and I say all the time. So on July 4th, which has become a day where I spend alone, solitude in my house, enjoying what I have, and just relaxed. There's no business. And I started watching Grateful Dead videos. I wanted to watch videos to see how the Dead presents themselves. And I saw some videos where Garcia was so messed up on heroin. This guy was singing Touch of Grey, and he was doing the last verse in the first verse, and the band's looking around like, what's going on? And he could barely sit up, and it was fun to watch. And then I watched other videos, guys clearly on coke. Then I watched this 1978, The Closing of Winterland, which was a space in San Francisco that used to be an ice rink that they would put on live shows at. And the Grateful Dead closed it in 78. On New Year's Eve, they went out at midnight, and it opens. You got to see this video. It's hilarious. First of all, behind the Grateful Dead in the Touch of Grey one, it looks like they put cups on the wall that said Grateful Dead. Like, it doesn't even look like lights. It's not like Elvis's 1968 comeback special where it says Elvis in red, which is gorgeous, and it's like splashing on the ground. Now, if I could afford that, that would be amazing. But I looked into it. I think they paid $3 million for that production, 1968. And they shot it in Burbank, and I believe in the same space that Leno was doing The Tonight Show. Could be wrong about that, but if not, it's a fun fact. To think is the fact. Well, who cares about facts, right? Sometimes people correct me. Like on the last episode, here's an example. I said tinfoil. This doesn't happen to the tinfoil. And people go, oh, it hasn't been tinfoil since such and such year. It's aluminum foil now. Well, aluminum foil's not funny. One. Two, better to be funny than factual. It's better to be funny than factual. It's better to be funny than boring. Okay, don't never let the truth get in the way of a good joke. Like at the beginning, I'm talking about, that there's 8.1 billion people on the planet. It's going to take 15,000 years. Of course, it's absurd, but it's a funny thought. It's a funny thought. Everyone's got to chill out and not be so serious. Anyway, the closing of the Winterland, this is great. It opens with, I thought it was Santa Claus coming through a sleigh suspended from the ceiling, like moving closer and closer to the stage. Then the announcer comes on. This guy's high. Something. I don't know what he's on. He's like, ladies and gentlemen, what you see is the biggest lit joint. I'm like, that's a joint? And then you can see, because it was so poorly crafted, apologies to whoever did it, looked like a 5th grade paper mache project. And the joint is going towards the stage, and it's going to hit something and illuminate Happy New Year's, like drop the ball, like it's going to trigger what would be the dropping of the ball in Times Square, New Year's Eve. Well, the guy on the joint, who I thought was Santa, I don't know who's maneuvering the floating joint, but the floating joint isn't on time with the countdown. The countdown started at 5. Never heard a New Year's Eve countdown ever start at 5. And they're going 5, 4. I think they go 4, 4, 3. They're waiting for the floating Santa on the joint, even though it wasn't Santa, just some guy in a beard, to get the timing right to start the show. And then the Dead played. But it's interesting, the Dead, and what I love about Elvis and his simple backdrops is it's about the music. It's about the music. Elvis was flamboyant with his onesies. But it was about the music. Watching a lot of stuff, and then I've got an intro planned, which got me to watching some Oscars clips. I'm just looking for ideas for my special. This is how I'm spending my time. I come across a clip from 1974 where there was a streaker at the Oscars. And the host, David Niven, who's this guy? British bloke. Guy streaks. I wrote this down. I got to tell you something. I miss old comedy timing. I don't have it. I missed it. I talk so fast. I try and get my thought into your head before you have the similar thought. And sometimes I have 5 thoughts, and I want to get all 5 thoughts out like a machine gun. They used to say I had machine gun comedy in college. That's what my fraternity brothers would say. So this guy Nevin, let me find this. So I was like, who is this guy? He was so funny. It was such perfect timing. I suggest you watch this. And I'm envious of it because I'm watching and I'm thinking, I wish I could be this good. I wish I could be this good. Oh, this printed 2 sides. Okay, good. I saved paper. 1974 Streaker at Oscars. First thing I noticed, they cut to the audience, whitest group of people I've ever seen. Very different looking Oscars crowd and awards in 1974. We've come a long way. No phones. Nobody distracted. Seemed like an older audience. Now, this guy, Niven, was an English actor, soldier, raconteur, memorist, and novelist. Niven was known as a handsome and debonair leading man, which, much like how people saw me in Teen Wolf. In the classic Hollywood films, his accolades include he won an Academy Award and 2 Golden Globe Awards, in addition to nominations for a BAFTA Award, whatever that is, and 2 Emmy Awards. This guy did a lot. He was the James Bond in Casino Royale. What more do you need than that? But imagine this. Guy's about to bring up Liz Taylor, right? That's Hollywood royalty. And a guy streaks. Look at the guy. All you can see is his chest because they didn't cover like award shows like it was an NFL game back then. They had some cameras on tripods. They weren't prepared to pan. They didn't have like behind shots and all this. So all you see is the guy's chest. He gives a peace sign. You know, there's a little piece of the peace sign, and then he's gone. And the audience is laughing. And Niven says this after a good 3 minutes of what we used to call a pregnant pause. Okay? He, in a British accent, it was bound to happen. But isn't it fascinating to think that the only laugh that man will get in his life is by stripping off and showing his shortcomings? Now, if I may continue with my introductions, the only laugh that man will get in his life is by stripping off and showing his shortcomings. I mean, such beautiful, beautiful timing. This story broke yesterday about that Sam Haskell Jr., the Tarzana man that killed his wife, dismembered her, and the in-laws, which the bodies have never been found. This happened in November 2023. I saw him in court, his first appearance. The Tarzana man looked like Tarzan. Now, why he had his shirt off in court, I don't know. He's like Streaker. We needed David Nevin to say, comment on that guy. And say, oh, isn't it interesting that his fascinating... I don't know, there's no joke that can be made. We're 33 minutes into the episode. If anybody's doing murdered on this planet math, just divide 33 by 1 and you get the number of people that are murdered during this podcast. You wonder why there's so many documentaries out there about murder. Why we got channels in the United States like the ID channel, which is running 24 hours a day murders. I wish people would just stop killing people. I'd rather not talk about it, rather not be saying this over and over again flippantly. A Tarzana man accused of killing his wife and her parents, to me, looked like Tarzan. Tarzan from Tarzana stood there shirtless, handcuffed, and wearing an anti-suicide smock as he stood near his attorneys, separated by a glass partition. Well, the guy killed himself yesterday, so I probably should have kept him in that anti-suicide smock. Guy took the easy way out. Haskell was accused of murdering Mei Lee Haskell, 37, and her parents, Gaisha Lee, 72, and Yan Xing Wang, 64. and then tossing the dismembered body parts into an Encino trash bin where the remains were later discovered. Now, let me give you a little background, and I'm going to tell you why this story is interesting. A few thoughts come to mind. First of all, I will start researching these people that call Crime Stoppers and report themselves as the person that committed the crime, thinking they're going to get the reward. This is how dumb some criminals are. Well, this guy's dumb. First of all, he killed 3 people. You're an idiot. You're an asshole. I hate people like this. I wish you went to trial. I wish the family of the victims could have gotten the justice they deserve. And there's 3 kids that were left behind. Can you imagine how those 3 kids feel? Okay, in 2023, Haskell killed those people. He was 35 at the time, and he was the son, ready for this, of popular Hollywood agent Sam Haskell. And he was held without bail. So this guy, ready? Sam Haskell Jr. This is why you don't name your kids, don't do juniors. You do a junior and the kid's a huge success. Yeah, then it works out for you. But there's always the chance, there's a liability that your son, the junior with the same name as you, kills 3 people and dismembers them. I'm just saying, when a kid's born, you got to look at the kid in the eyes and you got to say, is this kid going to dismember somebody someday? This guy killed 3 people in 3 minutes, probably. And why can't women be juniors? If we're going to have equity, if we're going to have diversity, equity, inclusion, I want women to be juniors. I want it. I'm calling for it right now. Calling for equal gender opportunity to be a junior. Thank you. Hi, my name's Orny Adams. Hi, this is famous comedian Orny Adams. And I'm calling for women to be able to be juniors too. Thank you. Did we get it? Do I need another take? So his father, Sam Haskell, was a big producer, and he represented people. Who did he represent? Big people. I want to say Clooney, but it wasn't Clooney. But it was big people. And then his son pulled this shit. This guy's got a great life, decides to have a kid. You know, it's one thing if your kid gets suspended, but kills 3 people. So the guy's in jail, commits suicide, but here's what's great. This is how dumb people are. He allegedly, I'm going to take out allegedly. He dismembered the bodies of his wife and her parents and then attempted to dispose of the remains in ordinary black garbage bags. You got to double up, right? You got to double up with body parts. Like the supermarket gives you 2. Haskell Jr., there he is, he's a junior now, we got to think of his dad, hired, ready for this, 4-day laborers to dump the bags. So he goes to like a Home Depot, hires 4 people. Hey, you got a job. I just need you to take these bags out. Tells them it contain rocks and Halloween decorations, which I can see that. It's November, time to get rid of the Halloween decoration. Apparently his wife and in-laws were Halloween decorations. Then the people, the day laborers, and this is why we should not be deporting everybody. They feel the bags and go, a little squishy here for rocks, a little squishy here for Halloween decorations. Never seen squishy Halloween decorations. They open the bag, they see a torso. Now, what do the day laborers do? They bring the bags back to Haskell Jr., put them on I don't know if they had any interaction with him, gave the bags back and his money, and then called the police. Now, these are good people. These are the people you let stay in the country. You let people that have contributed, this led to an arrest. We should make a list of people like this that should be allowed to stay in the country. Here's another one. If you have kids, and the kids are good looking, I think they stay in the country. Now, upon discovering the human parts in it, they returned to Haskell's home, dropped the bags in the driveway, and returned his money. All right. Where's page 3? Where's page 4? All right. I hate two-sided printing. Then they called 911 to report the case. Now, by the time the police got there, and believe me, police in Los Angeles, response time can be a little slow. I'll tell you this. Okay? I'm switching stories quickly. This weekend, when I got home on Sunday, an arsonist was caught setting a fire in Runyon Canyon. Now, if you live in Los Angeles, Runyon is a very popular hiking, in air quotes, trail that people go on. It's pretty easy. There is some aggressive routes. One aggressive route is shut down because an arsonist started a fire back in January. So this guy lights a fire in the middle of the day when it's as busy as could be, and he gets detained by 2 great citizens. Thank you to those people. Now, the guy clearly battling something mental. Full disclosure, I'm not a psychiatrist or psychologist or whatever. I haven't studied. I've even studied enough to know what one is or how to say it. But this guy said, "Are you here for the murder warrant?" And they're like, "Oh, something's wrong with this guy." Like, I kind of wish there was like an anarchist or somebody that knew what they were doing. But this is what's great about L.A. And so when you go back to the Sam Haskell Jr. case, and you're like, well, how do you get rid of the body so fast before the police showed up? And believe me, I love you, LAPD. I love police. I like police. I want more police. In fact, if I could check on my taxes where my tax dollars go, I would erase schools because I don't have kids, and I'd put it in police because I like to feel safe. Okay, ready for this? This is for the fire, Runyon Canyon. The alleged arsonist was held by 2 hikers for more than an hour before law enforcement arrived and eventually arrested him. Now, when 2 citizens are detaining a wacko that had a torch and started a fire, should they have to sit there for an hour? Should there ever be this word, eventually, in this paragraph? Before law enforcement arrived and eventually arrested him, they should be up there right away. What's going on? Now, thankfully, the fire department was up there within 15 minutes. Those guys are killing it. Thank you to the fire department. You guys are amazing. So then the guy, we're getting back to the Haskell case, Junior. Sure, the dad's like, thanks, son. I wonder if that guy's still alive, the father. He probably is because the son was 37. He should be alive. Unless he's one of these old guys like me that put everything into his career and then if he was going to have kids, would be later in life. Anyway, I digress. That's what teachers used to say. I digress. That's all I do is I digress. But don't forget, as much as I'm digressing today, this one's for me. This podcast is for me. I'm at 43 minutes. Anybody doing the math? Death math. Sick world. People like this. So, a guy tries to hire day laborers who have ethics, great people. They return the dead bodies and they call the police. They should have held the dead body. Well, they didn't want to get arrested. They didn't want to get deported. I guess they did what they could. They should have left the bodies at an undisclosed location and then called the police and turned this guy in. Anyway, and I think the police, if you're here illegally and you do something this great, maybe you're granted citizenship. I mean, I joke about deportation on stage sometimes. I feel bad about it because it's funny, but it's funny to me, but I'm not in threat of being deported yet. I'm sure it will happen eventually. And I hope I get sent to Costa Rica. It is so tragic. There's so many wonderful people in this country that are here, and we should let them stay. And moving forward, we should certainly have tough borders. I've always felt this way. I've always thought, why is it so easy to get in here and stay? Why are people here illegally and getting free health care? So it's not so cut and dry all of this, but there's people here, and we need people to do certain jobs, like dispose of bodies, because rich kids should not be held responsible to dispose of their own murder victims. This is how sick and on edge we are right now. Yesterday, big story broke about a teddy bear that was found north of Los Angeles, about 2 hours from here. What is it, San Bernardino County? Is that what it's called? A teddy bear wrapped in human flesh. Boy, the internet went abuzz. A lot of excitement. Everybody had an opinion about this. Well, it turns out wasn't even human flesh, but everybody came to their own conclusion because the world moves too fast. People got to stop, deliberate, think before you come to conclusions. Arrest made in Maccabee human flesh teddy bear prank in Southern California. An arrest has been made after what appeared to be a teddy bear wrapped in human flesh left outside a Victorville convenience store, prompting law enforcement to investigate Sunday. The bizarre incident unfolded. What am I reading from? KTLA? The bizarre incident unfolded just after noon outside an AM/PM store. It's always an AM/PM or 7-Eleven. In San Bernardino County. Deputies responded to the location on a report of human remains spotted outside the convenience store. Geez, I wonder who reported it, which was cordoned off with yellow crime scene tape. While a coroner's investigator examined the body before placing it in a pink-colored plastic bag. Why do we need to know it's pink? The Maccabee story quickly went viral. That's right, I saw it all over the place. Just something about it didn't ring true to me. I wasn't that curious about it because I'm like, this just doesn't add up. The Maccabee story quickly went viral, catching the attention of special effects prop artist in Somerville, South Carolina, whose company, Dark Seed Creation, specializes in making human flesh-like dolls, including human skin teddy bear, which sells on the popular online marketplace Etsy for $165. You know they're going to sell out of those now. You can't make this shit up. This is what it says in the article. One of my skin teddy bears has apparently been involved in a prank that brought police attention. This is effing wild. A Facebook post by Dark Seed Creator was posted shortly after the news broke. The artist, Robert Kelly, told KTLA the teddy bear and other similar props get the Maccabee look from the latex coverings, and that he did in fact sell one of the teddy bears to a customer in Victorville last week. Well, guess what happened? This dumb criminal, no day laborers involved in this one, but another dumb criminal, they must have traced it back to him based on that. And he's the one who made the crank phone call, or he reported it. So he's been arrested for causing the report of an emergency while knowing it to be false and intentionally and wrongfully planting evidence to falsely present as real. I don't know. What happens to a guy like this? I mean, you don't go to jail for this. Are you fined? Like, I don't know what happens. And what's the intention of the prank? What do you get out of this as a human being? And who's making dolls with latex to look like skin? And who knew latex could be made to look like skin? $165 for that doll. That's an expensive prank. That is an expensive prank. I had fun in Las Vegas at the Jimmy Kimmel Comedy Club. I want to big shout out to Jerome, 93 years old, was at the 6 p.m. show Saturday. Now, if you were at the shows in Vegas this weekend, let me rank them for you. Number 1, 6 p.m. Saturday. And all the next 3 were tied as sucky. Anyway, that 6 p.m. show was great. All the shows were weird. Like, I'm trying to sort of settle in, what is my comedy special, my 4th special? This one's for me, or Stupid Finds Me. what's it going to be? And got very little done in Las Vegas because this audience wanted to be interacted with and just never let me get into a flow. But, that's fun. And that's part of really where my comedy is going. So, and then this is a funny moment. The mic stand sucked. Guy at the gym was like, what are you thinking about? Like 10 minutes before your show. I'm curious what you're thinking. I'm thinking, well, in the last show, the mic stand sucked. And I didn't sell enough merch. And what a weird crowd. Mostly complaints. Got to get into character for the show. Anyway, I'm on stage and I take the mic out of the stand. The cord just falls off. I didn't do anything. I've been doing this over 30 years. I know when what's wrong with Orny Adams is Orny Adams and his the way he's handling the mic. But then I go to put it back in and there's a metal piece that snaps it in to the mic so it doesn't come out. Well, that piece is broken. I mean, why should we have a mic stand in a mic that works? They were both broken. Anyway, it comes out and sarcastically as the cord hits the ground, during the show, I said, no reason that should stay in. Or I said, no, this is what I said. No reason that this mic shouldn't be cordless. And a guy said very unemotionally, I said, no reason why this shouldn't be cordless. And the guy goes, it is now. Probably the biggest laugh of the weekend. Certainly wasn't from anything I said. That's for sure. All right, here are things that bother me. Here are things that bother me. Kids with agendas. These kids are like, I'm here to save the puffer fish. It's like, you're 9. Why don't you get to puberty, then have an opinion? They just don't like kids with agendas. At the gym, incident happened with Dave, guy named Dave, older guy from Minnesota. Last week I saw him with a dish rag, dish towel, so I started to call him Dish Towel Dave, DTD. And I told his best friend, I go, did you see Dish Towel Dave? Right? I like to give people nicknames. I go, where's DTD, Dish Towel Dave? So he said, Dave thinks it should be Dish Rag Dave. He thinks rag sounds better. I'm like, rag does kind of sound better. Rag it's one syllable, it's fast, rag. But towel is funny too. And it was my original thought. Usually my original thought's the funniest. I said, you know what? I'm going to call him Dish Rag Dave. But don't tell him. I'm going to call him Dish Rag Dave. In case you're wondering why I'm not in better shape, this is what I'm doing at the gym. I'm going to call him Dish Rag Dave. But don't tell him that you told me that. And then he's going to say, wait a minute, I thought you said Dish Towel Dave. And I came up with because he's always like punching up my jokes. He's always like pitching jokes to me. He's always critiquing my jokes. But I don't need his critique. But I just sit there and go, oh, okay. I pretend like I care. Diplomatic. So I'm going to say, hey, Dish Rag Dave. And he goes, oh, you mean Dish Towel? I told the other guy, my best friend, that you should call it Dish Rag. And I go, no. I was going to act. I was going, no, you got it wrong. I said Dish Rag Dave. Anyway, so I said, and what are you talking about? I was going to flip it on him. Well, I told the other guy I was going to do that. So I saw him yesterday. It's a week later. And I see him sitting. I go, Dish Rag Dave. Here come the sirens. More arson. They're the fire department to put out the fire. The police will be here in an hour to arrest 60 murders later to arrest the arsonist. Great living in L.A. I go, Dish Rag Dave. Dish Rag Dave. He says nothing. He says, let me ask you a question. She says, 10 minutes before you go on stage, what are you thinking? I go, this is peculiar. He doesn't say it. So I let it go. And then as I'm working out, I'm doing the elliptical, barely cardio. I wonder why I look the way I do. I thought, he knew. I saw the other guy. I'm on the elliptical. I go, you told him. That's all I said. You told him. And he said, I had to. I go, you double-crossed me. I got double-crossed at the gym. Can I trust anybody? Am I safe anywhere? let's end on a happy note. First of all, I'll be at Flappers in Burbank this weekend, ornyadams.com/tour. I'm doing a private event in New Jersey for an aging community that reached out to me year after year after year, asked me to do it. Finally, I'm doing it. I'm looking forward to it. That will be in New Jersey. I got back, I'm in Vegas, and I'm preparing for this special. ornyadams.com/tour. Also, thank you, Eric, for mastering the audio. And I hope Eric is part of this special. I haven't talked to him about it yet, but Eric, we need you. He's the best. This guy, Eric, is one of the best people I've ever worked with in any capacity. ornyadams.com/tour. If you want to write an email, what's wrong at ornyadams.com. I have a new Patreon subscriber today. I want to thank that person. I want to thank everybody that's on there. I appreciate it. This is the stuff that goes into funding this because there's no advertisers. No advertisers. Anyway, I'm flying back from Vegas. And there's a lot of, so going there, they were saying happy birthday. That annoyed me twice. And at the end of the first happy birthday, she's like, you can do better than that. This is Southwest. I'm like, you cannot charge us for our bags. How about that? You can do better, Southwest. Anyway, flying back, lots of middle-aged chicks with Backstreet Boy shirts. Now, these Backstreet Boys, okay, I remember them. They were big. I never took boy bands seriously. I thought they had one hit. Backstreet Boys are back. Well, apparently, let me think about it. They're back. That means they probably had another hit before that. So they probably had 2 hits. These Backstreet Boys sold out 21 days. They're the new Elvis. 21 days at the Sphere. I'm so out of it. Weird Al Yankovic just sold out Madison Square Garden. I'm alone in a trailer outside my house doing a podcast.
What's your name, Kev?
Orny.
That's it. We're done. We're done. I got a special to get ready for. We got Orny Adams. What is this, 156? Thank you to everybody that listens, writes reviews, passes it along. A lot of people come up to me after shows. My neighbors are listening. This thing is catching on. So anyway, thank you to everybody. I hope you have a wonderful week, and I hope to see you at one of my shows. And just understand that my adrenaline is like this. I'm losing my mind because of this special, because I got to do it again. This is my 4th one, might be my last one. Then I ride off into the sunset, and I go to Costa Rica, and I'm bringing my whistle back.